All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most complex puzzles in modern film, Christopher Nolan's Inception. We're going to break down everything, the rules, the key players, and the absolutely mind-bending plan for a heist that doesn't happen in the real world, but deep inside someone's dream. Right from the jump, the movie hits you with this question from our hero, Dom Cobb, and it perfectly sets the stage. See, this isn't about stealing jewels or cash. The target is the human mind itself, and the weapon? Just an idea. But an idea is contagious, it's powerful, and once it's planted, it's almost impossible to get rid of. And that brings us to the core mission of this whole story. This incredible feat of mental spying they call Inception. You know, stealing an idea, that's one thing. But planting one and making the person think they came up with it themselves, well, that's the holy grail. That's the job everyone says is impossible. So, to really get what Inception is, you first got to understand its opposite, extraction. Now, this is Cobb's specialty. It's his bread and butter. He's the best there is at breaking into dreams and stealing secrets. But then, this powerful client, Mr. Saito, shows up. And he doesn't want Cobb to steal something. No, he offers him that impossible job, with the biggest prize imaginable hanging in the balance. The chance to finally go home and see his kids again. Okay, so how in the world do you even pull off a heist like this? Well, before the team can even think about starting, they have to get a handle on the very specific and, let's be honest, pretty weird rules of the dream world. The whole thing hinges on this bit of military tech that makes shared dreaming possible. Basically, it hooks up the entire team to this one device, that famous briefcase, and lets them all enter the same dream world together, a world that's been designed from the ground up by a specialist called the architect. But here's the catch. These dream worlds aren't just empty sets. They're filled with projections, basically manifestations of the target's subconscious. And there's one huge rule you can't break. If you mess with the dream too much, those projections get hostile. They act like a mental immune system, like white blood cells that see our team as an infection and attack them to protect the dreamer's mind. But maybe the most crucial and seriously mind-bending rule of them all is time dilation. So back in the real world, the team has a very small window of opportunity. It's the length of a 10-hour flight from Sydney to LA. That's it. That's all they've got. But once they're inside the dream, time starts to warp. That 10-hour flight, it suddenly becomes an entire week in the first dream level. And it just keeps going. If they go deeper, a dream inside that dream, time expands again. That week, it turns into 6 whole months. And finally, 3 levels down, those original 10 hours on the plane give them a whopping 10 years to get the job done. Think about that. An entire decade to carefully lay the groundwork and plant an idea so deep that it feels like it's been there forever. So with all these layers, how do they get out? Well, they need something called the kick. You know that feeling when you're dozing off and you suddenly jerk awake because you feel like you're falling? It's exactly that. But here's the tricky part. It has to be perfectly timed across all the dream levels to slingshot them all the way back to reality. All right, so a plan this crazy and this complicated, you can't do it alone. You need a crew, a team of absolute pros where everyone has a very specific, very vital role to play. So let's meet the team. You've got Cobb, the mastermind, the extractor. He brings in his right-hand man, Arthur, the point man who handles all the research and organization. Then there's Ariadne, a brilliant young architect who literally builds the dream worlds. For the art of disguise, they need Eames, the forger, a guy who can shapeshift and impersonate anyone inside the dream. Yusuf is their chemist, the one who cooks up the heavy-duty sedative they need to keep 3 dream levels stable. And then you have Saito, the client, who doesn't just want to pay for the job, he insists on coming along for the ride. So, we've got the rules, we've got the team, now the mission itself comes into focus. And this isn't some theoretical exercise anymore. This is the Fisher heist. The target's name is Robert Fisher. He is the heir to his dying father's absolutely massive energy company. We're talking about a corporation so powerful, it's about to become a global superpower. And Saito wants that stopped. And this is the idea they have to plant. It's wild, it's revolutionary, and it goes against every single one of Fisher's own interests. They have to convince him, make him believe it was his idea, to break up the entire empire he's about to inherit. But you can't just shove an idea that big into someone's head. It'll get rejected. So the team comes up with a truly brilliant plan. They're not going to hit him with a business strategy. No, they're going to take him on an emotional journey across 3 dream levels. They're going to carefully guide him toward a moment of catharsis with his father, so that breaking up the company doesn't feel like a business decision. It feels like a profound personal discovery.
Look, this is not your average heist. Failure here doesn't mean getting arrested. The stakes, they're existential. We're talking about the fate of your mind.
So, threat number 1, Fisher's mind is a fortress. He's been trained to defend against people like Cobb, so his subconscious projections aren't just confused pedestrians. Oh no, they are a trained, lethal security force, and they are actively hunting the team. But there's an even bigger threat, and this one is personal. It's coming from Insider Cobb's own head. Her name is Mal. She's a projection of his dead wife, but she's not just a memory. She is a ghost in the machine, the living embodiment of his guilt, and she shows up at the worst possible moments to destroy everything. And all of this brings us to the ultimate price for failure. Remember that super powerful sedative that Yusuf cooked up for the 3-level dream? Well, it comes with a terrifying side effect. See, normally, if you die in a dream, you just wake up. But on this stuff, you don't wake up. Instead, your mind gets cut loose from reality and gets sent falling into a shared, subconscious abyss. And that abyss is called limbo. It's just raw, unconstructed dream space. An infinite expanse of pure subconscious. It's a place where time becomes meaningless, where you could be lost for what feels like an eternity, long enough for your mind to shatter, long enough to completely forget that a real world ever even existed. So you see, this whole heist is so much more than just a job. It's one man's desperate shot at redemption. With his own mind as the biggest battleground, and an eternity of nothingness on the line, the real question isn't just can they pull it off. It's can Cobb overcome his own demons and navigate this mental labyrinth to finally see his children's faces again.